lovely people on the internet. This is Bonnie here. The biggest difference you might notice is I'm talking English again. I always say this is a lifestyle channel. And I've realized that I kind of focus more on the style side than the life side. So this is the part of the life side I want to express. And I am more comfortable saying it in English. Second is, my interpretation of this comment is people is asking me to do something in English. So if you watch Home Alone, one thing that I've got from that movie is,
and say it again. Maybe it'll happen.
as someone who loves granting wishes, congratulations, this is what you get. You're welcome. But, you know, if you are more comfortable with Chinese, that's fine. I will have subtitles, and hell knows how long I've spent on putting subtitles below me. If I'm not doing a great job, feel free to help me out. I'm probably not the world's best translator. There are a few main reasons why I want to do this video. One is personal. This is a topic that is very dear to my heart and very close, and something I've been experiencing since, I can't even recall, since a very young age. And I think it's worth discussing. And the second reason is also personal, is I have a younger brother who may be experiencing the same thing that I am, or in the future. And I do hope him, you know, to go through less self-doubts and go have a smoother path than I have been, and making sure that he is mentally available for accepting these kind of information from the outside world and not being hurt or affected as much. Before I start, I want to put a disclaimer out there, is these are opinions, my own opinions, based on my past experiences and also what I'm currently going through. Please don't put my words into others' mouth or put others' words into my mouth. This is solely mine. I think it's only fair before I start to kind of give you guys some context with what I've been through. I was born in China in 1990 something. My family moved to Canada when I was 5. At that time, I don't remember, I'm sorry, I don't recall how good my Chinese. But anyways, when I got to Canada, I completely don't know any English, and then I learned it at the spot. By the age of 10, when I mastered English, and that became the only language that I know, my family decided to move back to China. That was a tough decision, of course, on my family's end, but also as a kid, you don't really have any say in these kind of big family decisions. So after I went back to China, I was dropped in the same spot as before. It felt like swimming in an ocean. You don't have anything familiar around you. You don't know anyone. You don't even know the language. You don't even know anything people are talking about. That sense of insecurity for a kid is kind of mind-blowing and kind of earth-shattering. Literally, I remember I cried every single night for the first week or two because it was just that hard to get through. Grade 3 or 4, kids are, I would say, starting to develop their own ideas, seeing the world differently in their own way. They know something is going on that is different from what they previously experienced. Let's just put it in a way that they might not be the nicest people. Yeah, that's about the time when I learned 2 languages. So even till now, if you want to say which one is my first language, I would have a hard time identifying. One of the reasons is that I am not confident in either language, that I'm good enough to consider it as a mother tongue. And I would go over that a little bit more later on. I want to go through the mechanics of how my brain works. I just want to sit up a little bit with my little note here, if I may. This is just something that I find really hard to explain in my own words. And it's exciting when you find something that you thought that you're the only person experiencing it. There's actually theories and studies done on it. So I've learned Chinese and English through an immersive environment, which is basically you were airdropped into an environment where you have to learn a language from scratch, and you don't have another language as a base. You are without the possibility of actively translating it. You don't have the opportunity to compare the 2 languages. So when you learn it through a direct concept to language translation, and becomes more natural than classroom way, which is you have a direct word-to-word translation. So if you think about it, the classroom environment is basically you have 2 languages, you learn it in a complete parallel way. And then for me, there are 2 completely different thought process and language in my brain. But it's not that neat. What I realize most of the time is my brain is like this. That's how I learned the base of the language. As you slowly, gradually grow up, when you learn additional vocabulary, you don't look for the definition in the other language. Go to a dictionary and then it describes the word in that specific language. Basically, my brain constantly is like this. What it means is, from the outside, it probably looks like a piece of messed up yarn. But when you think about it, man, it's just a battle up there. People have battles of like, oh, the devil versus the angel. You know, people talk about 2 different ideas popping in your mind. I have 2 languages battling constantly and seeing which one comes up first, and then it pops out of my mouth. But a lot of times I realize myself ending up in a situation where nobody wins and they just both sides fail, and what happened is I blank out. You have a hard time focusing, and you can't describe in any of the languages. And to other people, it seems stupid, you know, because you're talking, and then you just stop. Because your brain is just so much processing, it just shuts itself down. So I actually cut that a lot out of my videos. Or else you'd be literally spending like 5 minutes seeing me sitting there and like zoning out. That's, you know, one of the things you zone out and you blank out a lot. The second thing about, you know, multilingual or bilingual is lack the sense of belongingness, or you lack the sense of identifying yourself, belonging to a one specific culture. At least for me, it is hard to sometimes join conversations, especially about childhood, just because you are taught in completely different two systems. As a kid, you want a role model to look up to find someone who is similar to you, and for me, I haven't gotten a chance to find that person growing up. So I face a lot of self-doubts and a lot of moments where I feel very insecure. Because you cannot identify yourself in one specific culture or language, others can identify you as well. And you would be seen, you constantly cannot be able to measure up with common standards in either culture. I want to say there's no standard out there. To be real, like reality, there actually is. I know in North America, I look Asian, and you kind of know, like if you speak non-perfect English, it's kind of understandable. And then I go back to China, and because I look similar, and people are expecting you to have a similar reaction to things and similar ways of talking, when it's different, you would see the reaction from other people. And when you don't measure up with standards of that culture, you would be constantly reminded that you haven't put in a lot of work within it. As much as people tell me that I don't measure up, I have to say, like, I should be proud of knowing 2 languages and being able to talk rather fluently and also write. Okay, who am I kidding? Like, I cannot write fluently in Chinese. I probably write like a 10-year-old still. I've put so much time and effort and tears. I'm a crybaby, by the way, when I'm young. Maybe now, I'm not sure. And so much difficulty has gotten me so far that it's my own skill. It's not genetic, right? It's not inherited. It's not something I can steal from other people. You know, I don't walk up to someone and steal their vocabulary. Right? It's something that I gained through my own hard work. If something is worth being proud of, I think these skills are one of the main things. But when you are being compared by other people, and when people are trying to match you up with a specific standard, you just kept on being reminded of how much you're not measured up, but you don't realize how much you've been through. And I do feel most of the times insecure and knowing that I might not ever meet the standards of either language. So when I get picked on things that I say, I want to find ways to correct them and make it better, especially when I'm younger. But now I sort of take it as my personality, something that's worth a laugh from all my friends. When I see them happy, it serves a purpose, but you do think a lot about how much you're lacking on either language. The third thing is not being understood. The ways that you talk and the ways that you act. Because I've been through these things a lot. I'm not saying it's wrong. I think it's just miscommunication. And just because I've been through both sides and I know what is it like to not understand, I have a better understanding of why this is happening. As I mentioned previously, how my mind works, a thing to kind of ease the whole process of not measuring up on both languages is you supplement one language with the other. So what I do is called code mixing, is you kind of support yourself in another language when you cannot use the primary language you're speaking in to express your feelings, right? It can be blah, 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 and then you pop another language word, and then you blah, blah, blah. And then there's blobs. These are just self-made words. They have actual names. One blob in one language and another blob in another language. I talk to myself in that way. And it sounds stupid at first, but it is so funny. I just amuse myself all the time and how much weird things I say. You do that subconsciously. The power of being used to something is so strong, is when you're used to using a specific clause or a specific word or a specific subject in a different language, you are so used to just saying it out loud in that language when you're not even realizing. I think it's very common among people who have my experience or people who, you know, live in another country, culture, around another language for such a long time. You get used to it. It's something that you unconsciously grab. And when you're talking so casually to someone, you don't realize it. Even when I notice it, when someone's face kind of turned like, why are you talking English? When you said it, you kind of just said it. Not a situation where you can say it, because if you explain it, you're sort of telling them like, hey, I'm superior, I should explain it to you. You're worried that if they might take it the wrong way, you're thinking that, hey, they don't know the language, they're not smart enough. And if you don't explain it, just kind of go on with it, they'll be like, Like, whichever way you approach it, you cannot make it up. It's like accent, you can't drop it the moment. You constantly try to correct yourself. And that's why when I do videos, I restrain myself from talking more in English, just because I cause any more confusion out there. But I do want to provide additional information to those who understand. And if you can, it's great. If you can't, it's okay. You know, you don't have to grasp that piece of information. I don't want to restrict myself from expressing, and I don't think language should be a barrier, right? If I find a hard time expressing in a certain language, I would want to supplement it with another language. I think it's more important to provide the information in a way my brain can manage than not expressing it. If I get the information across, as long as it helps some people, I think it serves its purpose. And if you don't like it, it's okay. And if you don't understand it, it's fine. You can just skip. So yeah, that's a tad bit about my experience. I hope you enjoyed this video. You know, you watched it to this point. Hooray! The purpose of this video, for those watching, we've been taught to be different, to be unique, to be yourself. But at the same time, we are subconsciously gravitating towards things that we are similar to, people we are similar to. And it's a comfort zone, yes, sometimes. When you are facing the world for a complete day, I do want to provide that kind of comfort, if I may, to people like my brother, who, if you've been through this similar experience, I want you to feel connected and feel that it's okay, and these feelings are normal, and what you're going through is completely normal as well. And it's something that is worth talking about if you want to. And for those who haven't experienced it, it's also okay. If you watch it to this point, I think you're completely open-minded. If you don't approve of anything that I say, it's also fine. Don't agree with it. It's fine, because I don't think anyone has the right to force any kind of idea onto any other person. But at least when you got the time, consider, right? Consider it as another perspective on things. And if you've done that, I think the video has served its purpose. In the end, I just wish this video is entertaining for you guys. If you like this kind of video, you can click the like button down below. If you want to see any other of my interesting videos, you can click the subscribe button below. And if you're on BiliBili, you can click the subscribe button up. Well, I'm sorry, there's constantly someone there at the door. It's freaking me out. It's like 11 at night right now. I hope you have a great day. I hope you all the best, and I'll see you next week. Ciao. Oh my god. Alright, but actually though, bye.